Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today. We are here for the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It is qualifier race number 4, and it is Sunday, the 22nd of January. And Category 4 are already underway. We are in with Kamesh. Kamesh, these red jersey Category 4 riders already on the road today. They are pushing on, and this group is forming and rolling nicely. 28 seconds into this race. It is a strong pack of riders. Molina is here, Finati, Kamesh. These are all strong riders, and we've got some great contenders in here today. Goldburn is here, Mendoza is here, Finati, Kaluma, Suarez, Acevedo. All of these riders have had top 5s this month and making a very strong pack today. So we had 13 riders on the start sheets in the Category 4 race today. These riders are first group of riders away in the Sunday Race Club today. Now our Category 3, Category 2 and Category 1 riders are all sat waiting on the start line, warming up and getting ready for their race starts. The Category 4 riders underway first on the course, and they will maintain the lead on the road unless they are caught by the later starting categories today. So the Category 4 riders and the other riders waiting to start are all on this Wollongong course today. So we are back in Australia, and we have got a 45-kilometre race today with 700 metres of climbing. These men can expect 4 Category 4 climbs today. There are 3 Category 4 climbs on this course today. As you can see from the route map in front of you, so 45 kilometres of racing, 703 metres of elevation, and 3 Category 4 climbs today. However, this is a challenging course because these 3 climbs today total 312 metres of climb. There's 388 metres of climbing on the rest of this course. It is hilly and it is constant. There is very little flat on this course today. So 2 full laps of Wollongong City and then 11.8 kilometres to the top of Mount Pleasant for a mountaintop finish today. So these riders have already ridden across the flattest part of this course today, and they are on the bridge, which is the first part of the climbing. And the climbing just continues to come fast and furious after this. Is Kamesh just stretches his legs here. Mendoza has gone with him. Finati is closing the gap and bringing the group back with Sartorio there, Kaluma's there, Suarez is there, Villada is there. These riders pushing on, and this group just being stretched on this early climb, and we can see on that top right hand corner graphic of that road being stretched, that group being stretched, and we've just lost 1 rider off the back of that group, but others are closing down and that group is coming back together. So Suarez leading this out with Goldburn into, Kaluma is there, Finati is there. These are strong riders in this group and they are tapping along well now. We are 3 minutes and 50 seconds into this race and this group are now comfortable here. We've got a couple of riders just distanced from this group, but the main group tapping along very comfortably. The pace is high, 50 kph coming from that group at the moment. On the left-hand side of your screen, we drop in with our Category 3 riders. Our blue jersey riders, Noak here, sat on the start line awaiting the start today. So our Category 3 riders today, we have 4 teams in here. The UAE Road Warriors, Team Strikers, Fat and Furious, and Core 1, now Fat and Furious with Restrepo, Simeo and Lopez. Those 3 riders exceptionally strong, all on the start sheets today, and all have taken top 5 positions in this Category 3 race this month. So looking forward to a really strong race and a strong ride from these riders. So as Nowak starts to put some pressure on those pedals, he's starting to ramp his pace. The race for the Category 3 riders is underway today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. We are qualifier race number 4 for January. It's a long month this month with 4 opportunities to qualify for the final next week. So the blue jersey Category 3 riders, it's a stretch start and a fast start because we've got a really big kick coming off the front there. And this pack is splitting in the first 30 seconds of this race. Oh, wow, as we see a massive push off the start line here. We've got Guven in here. In fact, it's Berke Guven who is doing the damage to this group already as he's stretching his legs and pushing on, sitting up a little bit, but still keeping that pace high. Lopez is having to do a lot of work behind. So is Gil, so is Maggott. These riders are having to push on here to keep up with Guven as Lopez goes over the top. And this long group have started to bunch back together again. The question is, can all the riders get back into this bunch as they push on, or has Guven already done some damage to this Category 3 race today? So indeed, Guven has done some damage with that fast start today, because we can see the Category 3 race is already split into 2 defined groups. So Dadson, Cameron Dadson and Mark Dadson making the group, and we saw a lot of attacking and a real good kick off Mark Dadson last week. Dadson pushed on and finished strongly, but we've got a real split in that bunch with 2 Category 3 groups now on the race field. So on the right hand side of your screen, you can see the distance difference here. So we are around 2.7 kilometers distance between the Category 4 race who are down the road to the Category 3 field today. So 2 strong groups of riders already on the road as we jump back in with our Category 3 race. Our Category 3 race have indeed transitioned across the flat start. In fact, that is the only flat piece of parkour on the course today, as we are now on the bridge which is the first climb for these riders, and expecting a strong push because Guven has gone back to the front. Soberg is there as well. These riders pushing on and riding strongly at the moment, which is a really good start to this race. So Frederick Soberg pushing on strong on that climb. In fact, he's taken a flyer off the front of that group. Lopez is there. Lopez is trying to cover. In fact, it was Lopez who shut down that attack from Guven already. So we are only 1.7k into this Category 3 race, and we have more than one rider attacking already.
We're just jumping in with our riders here as they make their way up this start. Let's see who is going to take this out. Thank you very much, Emma, for taking us in and through. Hopefully, you're going to be all okay. Couple of issues this morning here at Full Speed Events. Do you know what? It's great to be back in the race. I've been watching this, just dying to jump in with you, Emma. Emma, give us a quick recap. This is looking really good, this group.
This Category 3 group have already been under attack today by more than one rider. We've seen Soberg attack, we've seen Guven attack, we've seen Lopez have to close things down. These riders are fast and furious in this Category 3 race today, Matt. We have already seen this group split in 2. And on this climb, even more damage is being done at the moment. They are pushing on hard and they are working in a really fast and furious manner. And less than 3k of this course already covered today. This Category 3 race is alight already. So Category 3 and Category 4 on this parkour already. Category 2 and Category 1 are sat waiting in the start pens, watching these fast and furious races take place today. So we're in with Camish in our category 4. They have transitioned and moved now over 5 kilometres of this race complete for our category 4 riders. They are moving really strongly today and really establishing a good lead over category 3 and the other race categories who are waiting to start. So Goulburn actually doing some work on the front here as this pack moves and rotates through very strongly. Category 3 on the left-hand side of your screen now settled into what looks like a strong leading group. So these riders now more settled and happier to ride as a group after those strong first set of attacks. So 12 riders in our category 4 race today. And those are the 12 riders that this category 3 group are chasing. The category 4 riders starting, there's the first race start today. Our category 3 riders starting 5 minutes later. We are in with Nowak, Dudson, Soberg, Restrepo is in there, Staples, Dudson, Gill. Michael Phillips is in here too and has made this lead group in the category 3 race. And there you can see all 4 of our race categories on the screen at once. And you can see the start times there for our category 1 and our category 2 field on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's qualifier race number 4 in January before our finals next week. So nearly 6.5 kilometres on the road for our category 4 riders. They are pushing on. They will not hit the base of the main category 4 climb on this course until they hit 9.5 kilometres. So they are 3k from the first ascent of Mount Pleasant today. Mount Pleasant is a difficult climb and it is a steep climb. So whilst the average gradient is only 4.5%, Mount Pleasant has 2 climbs. It has a short, steep climb to start with gradients around 10%. The riders then descend off that part of the climb before they kick onto the main segment where the gradient goes skywards of 15%. So Lopez setting a good pace at the front of this category 3 race today. We've got a number of riders in here working really well. And this pack seem to just be tapping along now and happy to sit in and keep riding and working together. So Lopez is here, Parisi is here, Magat is here, Soberg is here. These riders very comfortable to continue to ride, but we see an attack here going back into our category 4 race. This race is being attacked again, so we are just on a little bit of a descent here, and Mendoza has gone, Suarez is here, Sartorio, Kaluma, Kamesh. These riders pushing on a little bit and just stretching each other out before they get to the base of that climb. So 6.5 minutes till the category 1 riders start. 1.5 minutes till our category 2 riders start, and we have those 2 lead packs moving comfortably and moving swiftly for category 3 and category 4 today. So now just over a minute till our category 2 riders start, and there's an attack coming off the front of category 3. But it's our category 2 riders that we are sat in with. These are the riders who are going to be chasing today. So our category 2 riders, we have just the one team here today, the UAE Falcons, but 33 riders on the start sheets today. The 33 riders will be those riders in the green category 2 jerseys, and we have got some fast riders in here. So Spratt is on the start sheets, Maglio, Angarita, Kranich, Cadiz, Rinosh is on here too, Oregano, Smithson, all riders regularly in the top 5. And we often see a big pack of riders come in to the finish with category 2. They are strong and they are fast. So Orego's power ramps very, very quickly to kick into that start today. It went from 1 watt per kilo to 6 as the riders take this sweeping bend and they go around the roundabout and they hit the track. This is a flat start and there's a big kick on the front of this group. They are already dropping riders. This category 2 group mean business today. Baltazar is there, RMF3 is there, Cadiz, Angarita, Giuliano. Strong riders. Acker is in here as well, and Kranich too, as they stretch this group, and we've already got damage done to the back of that group on this start. So a large group of category 2 riders on the road today. Now for the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, we are qualifier number 4, and these category 2 riders mean business today. They continue to push and the pace is high, just shy of 40 kph on this start today. But as we said earlier on, this is the flattest section of the course today. In fact, it is the flattest section of this course. This entire Wollongong City route today with the category 4 climbs. 3 category 4 climbs for these men today. In fact, a mountain top finish at the top of the 3rd ascent of Mount Pleasant today. So just sitting in with Reno towards the front of this pack, Smithson, Oregano, Moleno, Moreno. All of these riders now comfortably in this group as this group just stretches a little bit over the bridge. We are just tapping along over the bridge. The group is just stretching a little. There's a strong pace on the front from Reno. Acco is pushing around, coming up to 5 watts per kilo as well. And the gradient is about to start to climb, but there's a real push on the front here. Perhaps this group is still too big for these riders, but I'm sure they will start to settle into this race because a larger pack is what is going to be needed to hold those category 1 riders at bay as they transition now onto what will be the steeper sections of this first climb on the course. So Smithson pushing strongly, just sub 5 watts per kilo here as we start to see the gradient climb skywards, 7% and rising as they climb over this bridge, and they push on here at the front of this group, stretching it out and causing those at the back a little bit of trouble here at the moment. Just a strong push coming out here, and in fact over 6 watts per kilo from Smithson. Smithson meaning a little bit of business here as Baltazar is covering the attack. Ospina is there as well, but they are having to push hard to go with that pace on that climb at the moment. In fact, I think there's 1 or 2 riders having problems at the back of that group. So you can see all 4 of our race categories here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. We've got an attack after attack coming from that category 3 ride as well, as our category 1 riders now have less than 2 minutes before their race gets underway. So our category 3 riders are about 5.5 kilometers down the road from our category 2 riders, and there's some fast and furious attacking coming there. In fact, Lopez and Simeo look as though they are pushing hard. In fact, there's a rider down the road in front of Lopez as well as those riders continue to push. Category 4 are already on the climb. Category 4 on that steep first ascent of Mount Pleasant as we drop back in with category 1 here with now a minute until race start. So our category 1 riders today. Yellow jersey category 1 riders, and we have a number of teams in here today. The UAE clan team are present as always. Seriously strong riding from them. Popovic, Mirza, Safrazad, Mr. X100, Danish Pavlovas are here as well. Knudsen, Jones and Osborne, as well as Italian Gelato, Belgian Waffles, Swedish Candy Canes, and the Yorkshire Pudding Express. So 50 riders on the start sheets on category 1 today. So a strong, big race field. Norin is in there. Zanaska, who had a really strong ride last week. Zanaska, fantastic riding last week. Norin, Costa, and we are in with Zach Neer as the go has gone, and this pack are away. The category 1 race for qualifier, race number 4, has started, and the power is high, and they are pushing on strongly. So 5 watts per kilo coming out of this pack as they stretch on this flat section of road and start to drop riders already. So Zanaska, Popovic, Ferry, Bushmuller, these riders already kicking hard out of the gate as we see that pack strung out down that road on that screen in front of us. We are dropping riders off the back of that group as the front of this group kicks on. Osborne, Rolik, Ferry, Safrazad, Fujasin is in here, Popovic is in here, Ilpino, who last week moved up from the category 2 field into category 1, making the transition into this category 1 race really strongly. In fact, Ilpino is the one who's pushing hard on the front of this race today. So 6.8 watts per kilo coming out from Ilpino, really wanting to stretch this group and whittle it down early. We are currently on the flattest section of this course, and this is the start as we see a chase now coming from behind, and that group now concertinaing in and pulling Ilpino back. So Ilpino setting the early pace here as Osborne goes over the top. So Osborne, Ilpino and Graves, followed by Safrazad and Bushmuller at the front of the pack, but the front of that pack is around 3 seconds behind these leading 3 riders. So Osborne, Ilpino and Graves are 3 leading riders as we sweep round that bend, and we've got Safrazad and Knudsen chasing behind, and they are having to chase hard. 9 watts per kilo coming out of Safrazad at the moment as he tries to pull back those leading 3. This is a fast and furious start to this category 1 race today. These yellow jersey riders pushing on really strongly as they kick onto this climb, and boy, this is coming fast and furious here as we see Fawcett pushing. Norin is here on Carly, Hoyas, Costa, Briodi. These riders are having to work really hard, really early in this race as this race field gets stretched by these riders at the front. Jones is in here, Near is in here, Ilpino is still at the front of this race with Graves and Safrazad and Knudsen. These are the riders pushing hard, and they are pushing, as you can see, that stretch back of that field. They are all over the road today, these category 1 riders.
Well, just watching these riders going off here, Emma, it's looking very, very fast here today.
Is also here, as you can see, the damage this small group at the front and Ilpino in particular has done to this category 1 race. There are riders scattered everywhere like skittles. They are all over the road. So Ilpino continues to work hard at Knudsen and Ferry and Popovic. Mr. X100 is covering the moves as we see this group start to come back together again after the early action. So after the early action, Knudsen is kicking again, and Knudsen continues to push hard. Osborne and Ilpino continue to help. Graves is there and Safrazad, but this group are now starting to concertina back together again. So this category 1 race has been fast and furious so far as Jones picks up the mantle and continues to keep the pace high. Osborne, Graves and Knudsen are there closing this down, but these riders are absolutely meaning business today. So we have got about 25 riders in this lead group now. Rollick is here, X100, Panizza is in here, Addy, Biarhead, Nair, Simeons is in here too. But they have been attacking very hard here today and continuing to push on. Now, not much further down the road, the Category 2 race is continuing with a large group of riders at the front of that pack. So let's take a quick check. I am looking at that and thinking that is about 2.6 kilometers down the road. So 2.6k separating our Category 1 and Category 2 riders. Category 3 at 11.2 kilometres and Category 4 now over the top of that climb and down the other side at 13, just under 13.5k of racing done. So Osborne kicking on the front of Category 1, Knudsen in 2, Graves in 3, Safrazad in 4. This is full of action and attacking today, and it's different riders at different times, but they are continuing to attack this race. So Knudsen, Graves, Safrazad, Osborne, the 4 riders pushing on at the front here. Popovic, Ferry, Vujasin, they are 4 seconds behind, and you can see the group now away down the road. So we are going to need someone to take the bullet by the horns and actually push on here from this group, because this is a chasing group here as the gradient starts to kick a little bit. Mr. X100 is in here with Ferry and Biarhead, Bushmuller as well. And we are starting to see a bit of a push at the front to try and bring those 4 riders back. So 2.5 kilometers down the road, our Category 2 riders are pushing on.
So riders pushing on, Emma. It's looking like an absolutely frantic chase here. Big gap between Group 1, 2, 3 and 4 at the moment.
Yeah, there is indeed. But it's been fast and furious in this Category 1 race with a small group down the road already. And I think this Category 1 field are going to chase hard today.
So Matt Payne jumping back in with Emma here. It's great to be been watching and listening, but I've been very quiet for a change. I know that's unusual for me. Anybody who's listened to the show recently will know I'm always full of talk. However, it's been great, and Emma doing an amazing job here, keeping us up to date with the action. I've been really enjoying it. Maybe I should just watch for a change and not talk about it, Emma.
Really, indeed. And it's, well, there's a lot to watch today because there has been a lot of action and it is coming. Absolutely. Look at that. Vujasin pushing really hard. Safrazad, Popovic, Osborne. This Category 1 race is just spread all over the road.
And we see this, don't we, time and time again in Australia in this Wollongong route. It is so hard, it's so tough that riders really do struggle to stay with the pace, don't they? And it exposes any weaknesses, but it also encourages the stronger riders.
Oh, it really encourages an attacking race because the terrain is constantly rolling and constantly changing. And we often see riders not just attacking on the uphill sections, but also attacking on the downhill sections when other riders aren't expecting it. And it hence makes for great action and great racing. But my goodness me, those legs in this Category 1 race must already be feeling it. And there may well be a few matches already burnt.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And another attack again. I mean, we're just seeing move after move after move. I mean, it's a stacked race field. We know that, and we know that they're going to be really looking to push on here. But Knudsen and Graves here really doing some big serious work. Jason Osborne the same here. And let's face it, it is going to be the last run out really before we go into those finals next week.
It is indeed. And of course, Vink not here. Vink had been dominating through December and into early January. And we saw a very different top 5 last week, though Safrazad, I have to say, did indeed take the win, taking the win in qualifier 1 as well this month. But Zanaska took 2, Knudsen took 3, X100 and then Popovic. So we saw different riders in the top 5, and it's really good to see. Near was 6th last week as well. So people and their attacking styles paying off.
Indeed, and I've got to say, I think the UAE clan team last week, their dominance and their strength, the way that they tried to control the racing was a bit like we saw in the early season last year. And it may well be that it's just a good part of the season. And really good to see Francis Alpino. I mean, we see him in and out of the screens. He's really made that move up to Category 1 well.
Oh, Il Pino has taken the bull by the horns in terms of that transition to Category 1, and he's shown everyone that he's not frightened of the fact that he's been moved up a category. And whilst he wasn't there at the end of last week's race, he was definitely there at the beginning, and he's here at the beginning again.
Yeah, well and true, and that's the way to improve. So our riders at the moment, 7.8k covered in Category 1 at the moment, and these riders looking very strong at the moment. They keep on managing to regroup as they come in and round. Let's see how long that's going to last. I think this is going to be a very interesting race to watch how it transitions its way round this course here today. Could see Lionel Vujassin in here, and he's it's not been his best week, has it, Emma?
No, but the other rider who I'm really pleased to see in here is Ross Fawcett is in here as well, Matt. So made the transition to the front end of this group already. Was having a really strong ride last week till it looked like he had technical issues or something happened. So fabulous to see Ross Fawcett back in this lead group and riding strongly.
Indeed, it is. It's good to see Ross back in. Jason Osborne again, of course, coming back in again. A lot of riders focusing on jumping on to MyWhoosh and on to the Turbo Trainer this time of year. As I think this group now starting to catch up with those Category 2 riders by the look of it in front. So they're starting to make the catch. I think David Milano is going to be the next rider to get caught.
Yeah, so we are about to start to see this Category 1 group of riders move into the back and start to catch the back of the Category 2 field. But let's not forget, Matt, it's only 4 weeks until the Esports World Championship. So riders really wanting to start to see themselves coming into form for that.
Well, indeed, and it's always the title that people want. I mean, we've seen these riders riding strongly. It shows they are the best in the world who are here. I'm just watching this group just regroup, and I was just about to say, I wonder how long it'll be before somebody pushes off at the front. It's exactly what's happened. Another attack here. It's very aggressive racing here today.
Oh, this Category 1 group, very attacking and very aggressive racing here today. And it's Graves who's gone on the offensive here at the moment. So Philip Graves pushing on here, Osborne covering the move, SS, Knudsen, Noren, Popovic. They're continuing to stretch this group out as they sweep round this bend and leave that Category 2 rider for dust.
Well, that shows the pace, doesn't it, and the speed that the Category 1 can go. They are so powerful, and you get an attack just as you get caught, or you get a push on as you get caught, and that is going to take its toll. I mean, we're coming up to that sort of 9.7 mark. It's the start, really, of this first big climb for Category 1 here, and this is where those differences will show in the power, won't it, Emma?
It will, but this group have already self-selected. They are already an elite group at the front of this Category 1 field. As the gradient starts to go a little bit skyward, it's just kicking at 3.8%, but very soon and very fast, it's going to reach about 10. As we see Graves here joined now by other riders in this Category 1 pack. As we switch over and see here that the Category 2 field are not that far up the road, you know. They are literally just going over the top of the climb as we drop in with Reno here. Reno pushing on 11.5 kilometres into this Category 2 race and has got 16 seconds now on Spratt and Maglio behind.
Well, look at this. I mean, 25 seconds it's showing on there. It's yo-yoing a little bit, isn't it, because of this climb. And this group are pulling clear as well. So Spratt, Mr. G and Maglio going clear of Giuliano by the look of it. So really is breaking, though, that little bit further up the hillside. And it's about 7 seconds back to Giuliano, Krasnich and Cadiz in there as well. And remember, of course, these riders all want not just to get those 2 qualifying rides in, but they want to put a marker down. They want to show people, look, you're going to take us on. We are going to be able to take the racing to you. And there's a big psychological game being played here, isn't there, Emma?
There is indeed, and there's a big tactical game being played in the Category 2 field as we just sit in with our Methry. Smithson is behind, Torrento is in front, Giuliano, Kranic. You know, these are all really strong riders, and quite often we can see 8 or 9 riders in this Category 2 race all vying for those top 5 positions, you know, regularly mixing it up and regularly changing those positions between them. So a really competitive race field, and they are pushing on and pushing on hard today, which is really interesting. And we see pushing and pushing on hard here continuing to come from this Category 1 race as Knudsen and Safrasad push on here. And look at the damage being done on this climb.
It's definitely dropping riders behind. It's losing people off the back of the bunch. The group are trying to close down these 3, but what a 3. Knudsen, Safrasad and Osborne. I mean, those 3 absolutely class riders. But behind Noren and Vujasin, we've said Noren is coming really good at the moment. The continued racing on MyWhoosh really has affected his power. It really pushed it upwards, and he's looking more and more competitive, and he's closed that gap right down with Vujasin there. They've come across that group. Great counter-attack there.
It is, and isn't it great to see them really stretched and really working at this early stages of this race, Matt? This is only the first ascent of Mount Pleasant. They've got to go up here 2 more times.
And I've ridden this repeatedly, crazily repeatedly. And I know if you go out and ride it once, it's pretty tough stuff, but it doesn't feel the worst thing in the world. But when you're doing it second and the third time, it really starts to take its toll. And it's a big hilly circuit. And as I know you said, when you ride this circuit, there's as much climbing elsewhere as there is in the actual climbs itself. It is incredibly tough circuit with very little rest, and it does pay to get all the rest you can and attack when you can. But I can't believe the damage it's doing behind. I mean, we're looking at Mr. X100 here, Ross Fawcett, Panizzi, Nair. The gaps keep opening, and they're struggling to close them down.
I know this is just one attack after another in this Category 1 race today, and there is no large pack rolling into the finish for a sprint because they are just continuing to attack each other. And you know what? They really are coming fast and furious now onto the back of this Category 2 field because Oviedo, Hammondon and Balthazar are the next ones to get caught.
Yeah, just seeing Bulgarian here just being caught and passed on the way up here, putting out 6.3, 6.6 watts per kilo here. So Carlos doing a great climb. This is impressive climbing from Carlos, but the Category 1 riders have that extra bit of power now. Can he push on to jump into the back of this group over the top here? Because the summits of these climbs are very knife edge. You go up, you drop off so quickly. If you're not in the wheels, we've seen it time and time again, the gaps open and you're in trouble, and you've got to use the momentum to drive on through. Knudsen has pushed straight over the top, I think, just to make sure that he's in with that leading group as they come down. He doesn't want to get distance here. They're straight back onto this next section of climb, and those transitions, the way that they're so knife edge, really does affect the racing here.
Well, Knudsen was kicking there at 9 watts per kilo on the downhill. currently at 10 watts per kilo on the up. They are absolutely adamant they want this group to stick and this group to stay away, because Osborne, Vijacin, Knudsen, Safrazad, Noren, it is an elite climbing group here. And Knudsen is absolutely adamant they do not want the rest of those category 1 riders with them. So they are utilising the transition between the up and the down to stretch the distance between the field. And you know what, Matt? It's successful. Look at that. X100, of course, the rider chasing, always the rider chasing, but those riders, they are nearly 20 seconds down the road.
And we saw this last time we were here. Mistakes 100 just gets distance. He has to chase on, and he did it repeatedly. And but it just takes its toll, and eventually you just can't do it again. Just looking at behind him, I mean, we've got Panizzi, we've got Forsyth, we've got Ned. They're class riders, all these riders here, and they are distanced across the road. Fortunately for Mistakes 100, he's got Said Safrazad and Pablo Popovic up the road in the group in front. So the UAE clan team are going to be well represented up near the front of the race. But looks like Avedo already passed by our leading group that are on the right-hand side of your screen. And it's going to be Hamden, who's going to be the next rider, I think, who's going to see them coming up behind. They are absolutely flying. Mr. X100 is not that far behind. And if he could get with maybe a couple of riders, he would have a chance here. But we say this, the draft is key. Getting in behind a rider will save you so much power. It just makes so much of a difference.
Well, it does, doesn't it? But as we've said before, Matt, Mr. X100, his strength is not necessarily the climb. His strength is that he can hold a solid pace for a long period of time. And we've seen him do it time and time before, where he's been dropped on a climb, for example, and then he has literally time trialed his way back to the group. Regardless of the terrain and regardless of what the group has been doing in front of him, he has picked his pace and he has ridden at his pace and made the juncture and made it back to the group just by riding his own race. Now, he's got Popovic 3 seconds down the road, and then the group are a further 10 seconds down the road. So you never know what is going to happen here. This may well come back together again if Popovic and X100 work together, and as teammates, I imagine they will. And the group at the front sit up and look at each other.
Well, I mean, this is some ride because he's about to make contact with Pablo Popovic, I think, who's dropped back here, now starting to wind this up. I think Pablo Popovic, that was a deliberate move there to go back and go give some assistance to Mr. Ace 100. And they've now got to work, and they're going to make contact here. And I would have put you a lot of money as they went over the top with that gap that had opened up on Mr. X 100, that they just couldn't get back. But this is some ride. Look at this. They're going to make contact once again, and it's going to bring him in to this group that has got Knudsen, that's got Noren in here. You've got Osborne in this group, and the pack is back together again. May well be that that is something that the rest of the group come to regret later.
But what an exciting first lap of this Category 1 race. We started with 50 riders on the start sheet today, and we are down to a group of 9.
I tell you something, I'm glad I'm not in that group.
Wow, it has honestly, the pace of this field today on lap number 1 around Wollongong City has been absolutely phenomenal. 15k into this race, 9 riders: Knudsen, Zanaska, SS, Vijacin, Noren, X100. Popovic is in here as well as this group kick up over this bridge.
And this is one of the traditional attack points as you come spiraling round and then drop down into this long run. It is a traditional kicking point. I think that group may well see that hold together right-hand side of your screen. Category 1, left-hand side. This is Category 2. And you can see that Reno's still in front of Maglio from Spratt. Maglio and Spratt clear of Giuliano. And it's Maglio that we're watching on the left of the screen here. But look at the power differences and look at the speed differences between the riders. Maglio and Spratt are on a very similar part of the road, but their speed has not been quite as high. They're just starting to pick it up a little bit more now, but they will know that behind them, they've got some very fast riders. Mr. G and Ryan Giuliano in Category 2 are chasing, but this pack that's on your screens now, Category 1, they're coming, and they're coming quick.
They are coming quick indeed. And the category 2 back markers are now in their sights. In fact, there's quite a few now down the road, so we are about to start to see this category 1 pack weave its way through the back of the category 2 field. An interesting, Matt, that category 2 field, it was a large pack going into the bottom of the first time up the climb, but very quickly that climb is where it's broken that field apart, and we've now got Rhino down the road, and then we've got 2 chasers, and then we've got the pack behind. So a lot of attacking riding going on today.
Indeed, there is, and that's what we see across all of our race categories 1, 2, 3, and 4. As we go past the pens that our riders set off from. Category 2 riders currently been racing for just about half an hour as they come round. They know that that is going to be a lot longer by the time they get round, because of course we've got 2.5 laps, so 1 full lap done. It's 2.5 laps in total, and in fact it's probably a little bit more than that realistically. It's almost 2 3/4 laps, and of course we've got so much climbing, finishing on top of Mount Pleasant here as well, and you can see the distance between the leading riders. Reno down the road from Maglio and Spratt, and Maglio and Spratt continuing to push a little bit further along this. Of course, the distance between the riders about 1.25 kilometers from the rider that's about to get caught, and that means that it's about 1.75 kilometers from Spratt back to the category 1 riders as well, Emma.
Yeah, it is indeed. And I think we are going to see, well, I'd be amazed if we didn't see the category 1 front pack catch the category 2 front pack today, because this group are moving strongly. Popovic, Zanaska, Knudsen, Noren, all in this group, and they've now got about a 50-second gap back now to the rest of that category 1 field, with Fawcett at the front of that chasing group.
Well, you can see this group are about to catch category 2 riders as well. And I think this is one of those key moments where when you come in, you've got to be very attentive as you go through. We see it time and time again. It causes eruptions in the group as they come up to the riders a little bit further down in category 2 and in category 3 today. So just going past Ephraim there as they come down and through Simon Acker, I think just picking up the pace a little bit, trying to jump in. And you can see Hamden definitely doing that. So the riders who've got a little bit in their legs will be able to jump in and take a ride on the back of this group. And as a category 2 rider, that's going to be key. But we've got another kicker coming. This is the kick that was the first part of climbing on the lap. And this is what makes it hard to stay in on this course, because it's not as if it's a flat section where the difference in power is neutralized by being able to stay in the draft. You go in here and you're going to be in trouble. Mr. X100 picks up that pace here. They let him get back in. He's now on the attack.
Yeah, and it will definitely stretch those category 2 riders, and I think we're likely to see them to go out the back here as Knudsen, Osborne, X100, Safrazad, Noren, Vijassin. They're kicking at 7, 8, 9 watts per kilo, and that's not the kind of pace our category 2 riders can go with. So as you mentioned, Matt, on the flatlands, those category 2 riders, when they are caught, can sit in that group and take the draft and benefit from them and move through and fast with the category 1 riders. But when we see these constant changing gradients and the pace that these category 1 riders are working at today, look at that. Those category 2 riders have already gone.
Wow, and that's the result of this climb and this drop. And even if they manage to stay in for maybe the first kick or the second kick or even up to the third kick as they go through, they're not going to be able to stay once we go into that big climb of Mount Pleasant. So our riders in category 1, our category 1 leaders on your screen, 18.9k, sorry, 18.8k just covered at the moment as they come in and through, just coming past Roynel Villander of our category 4 races. And next rider in their sights should be the group in front. I think it's going to be Baltazar and Abello, who are the duo of category 2 riders, both absolutely class riders, but being chased down here by this pack. And one category 2 rider, I think, has managed to stay in there in that group, which is something that Mitch Ferry has not been able to do. So Ferry, again, distance, and you can see that gap on the left-hand side of your screen. Ferry is at 18.5k, and we've got the leading group at 19.25.
Yeah, and it's amazing, isn't it, how quickly they've managed to establish that. And that all established in the last 5K. And in fact, Ferry now off the back of Paniza, Near and Fawcett, Bushmuller there as well. So there's a smaller chasing group ahead that Ferry has been distanced from. So Ferry, Simeons, Ollie Jones, all distanced from the chasing group that are down the road.
And look at Phil Grace. Phil Grace, a minute 11 down on Mitch Ferry at the moment. So the riders who are maybe attacking early on, they will have a plan as well, won't they? Because they'll know what they want to do. And some of our riders will have a plan to be aggressive and then ease off, to stretch the legs and then ease. Because, of course, they don't want to do too much damage to their legs before next week's final.
Yeah, and as we said before, riders are riding this for different reasons on different days, and perhaps for Graves today it's about qualification and getting that qualification for next week. Or maybe he was just a little surprised by the early fast pace and expected a more sedate first lap and got caught out. We don't know. But definitely the front of this field, Osborne, Safrasad, SS, Zanaska, Popovic, X100, really keen for a high and fast-paced ride today.
It is, and I've just taken a look at Pablo sat in with that group. Pedro Eduardo Kirchner, the only Category 2 rider who's managed to go with that leading group. He's being brought up to these two riders by the Category 1 group. You can see him tucked in there in the green jersey in this group of yellow jerseys, and the two riders in front had got a huge gap on him, but he's able to use their pace and is able to respond to the rest of those Category 1 riders. How long can he do it for? Well, he's already got a big bonus. The longer he can do it, the more bonus he gets.
Yeah, as the gradient starts to kick up, though, he's just getting distance off the back. And that is the difficulty for our Category 2 riders sitting in with a Category 1 pack on the nature of this type of course today, because whilst pushing on and getting caught out, he's had to push really, really hard. And that's a high kick from him to get back in that group. Now, he's done it successfully because there are two Category 2 riders just here that the group are coming up on. But he's had to push hard and he's burnt a match because the group are pushing on again and they're pushing on to go past these Category 2 riders. And Pablo there is just going to have to push himself to get onto those riders as this Category 1 group goes past, led by Mr. X100.
Yeah, Miss X100 there just lifting the pace as they came onto this little bit of a climb here. It's peaked at 3%. It's easing off now as they go over the top. And you can see that gap just holding as he goes over. But the group behind are fighting to get back onto the wheels. And this is about staying in the wheels here. And Kirsten now needs to make the most of that lift. He got up to the two riders there. Whether he will be able to do that or not, that's very interesting to see. Then look at this behind Ferry, Panitza, Nair, Fawcett and Bushmill all together. So this is a decent sized group here. 5 riders chasing. This will be to their advantage when they are on everything but the steepest slopes.
Yeah, it will be, and it's a good group and a strong group of chase riders, and they are chasing a group of Category 2 riders that are just in front of them as well. So they have incentive because they can see riders down the road, and as we start to get riders in front, even if they're not in your category, there is an incentive to chase and to catch and to move through, adding motivation to our riders today.
So just seeing in there on the left-hand side of the screen. Go on, Emma, sorry.
I was only going to say it was really interesting to see it's 600 metres now separating the chase group and this lead group in the Category 1 race.
Yeah, 600 metres, but that's a tough ask to pull back that 600 metres, isn't it? Because you're not talking about closing down on somebody who's moving slowly. You're talking about the leaders of the Category 1 race. And we always used to say the group, if somebody got dropped, they were dropped for a reason. It wasn't because they just couldn't be bothered usually. It's because they just couldn't stay with it. If it was easy, they'd have stayed in there. So it definitely shows. And I think with 5 riders, they've got more of a chance, but it's probably not going to be enough. Meanwhile, a little bit further up the road, Nicholas Spratt just opening a little bit of a gap to a Christian Maglio behind. This is 2 and 3 in Category 2. Reno is up the road 1 minute 30 or so ahead as these riders come through. They're at 23.4K, so they're still not onto the main section of the climb, our main climb today. But look at this, Spratt. He's really pushing on here, Emma, and I think he just wanted that pace up a bit higher than Maglio maybe could offer.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, really deceptive part of the course to choose to push on, because he's still about 2.5 kilometres out from the second ascent of Mount Pleasant. But Spratt obviously deciding, he's adamant he wants that second place today, so pushing on and pushing on early.
He is. That's a great push by him. And will he make it up to Reno? Well, I think we're going to find out, even if we stay with our Category 1 leaders, because they're moving so quickly. So our Category 1 riders are moving fast, aren't they, Emma? I think that the pace of this race at the moment is led by the aggressive riding, but it's also led by the fact that we've got a good-sized bunch still. It's not 1 or 2 riders, is it? It's more like, I think that's 9 riders, 10 riders.
It's 9 riders in that group at the moment, as they just pop past one of our court riders. Now, Cartai Salius is the next rider down the road, and Burke Guven. So Guven was one of our very aggressive riders early on in that Category 3 race. 20 seconds now down the road from this group. In fact, he's the next rider who is going to be caught today. So these riders just sweeping round this right-hand bend as Mr. X100 is yet again on the front mat. And so X100 really pushing on now, even though he was the one who had to chase to get back onto this group.
I think he's trying to take some sting out of the legs. That's what I think he's doing. I think he's trying to get rid of some of that top-end power that is left. If you give climbers an easy ride all the way through to the big climb, they're just going to be able to just smash you on that climb and drop you on those upper slopes. But if you make it hard so they're having to repeatedly kick, you're already introducing some lactic acid into the legs, maybe asking them to do something that they're not so comfortable doing, moving hard on the descents, moving well across rolling terrain. And that then will put them in a little bit more trouble. A lot of climbers like to basically just push big effort on the climb, then have a big rest, and then a big effort on the climb. If you can be aggressive, which Mr. X100 is doing here, you can take some of that sting out of the legs, and that might be the tactic. What do you think?
Well, it's very interesting, isn't it? Because this second lap of the Wollongong City route is definitely a lot slower for this group than the first lap. The decision today was really from this group to go hard on the first lap to recover on the second. And that seems to me what this Category 1 front 9 are doing, because the pace and the attacks on this lap 2 are nowhere near as fast and frantic as they were on lap 1. And looking at the heart rates, they are all coming down and steadying out and giving these riders a much more steady ride this time round.
Well, that's really interesting because, of course, the heart rate drop is a sign that people are recovering. That means that they are getting some recuperation in. It means there's a little bit more in the tank to go hard later on. Just watching the time gap to Taisalius, Angarita and co. That's coming down, but it's not coming down by much. It's coming down by about a second a kilometre at the moment, but I suspect that will really change. So Taisalius' group on the left of your screen, Pavlo Popovic and the leaders in Category 1 on the right-hand side of your screen. This is the next catch for Category 1 to make. At the moment, there's not much between them.
No, it's 100 metres, and on a big straight like this, you can actually see that group behind. The only real reason they couldn't earlier is because of the sweeping and bending nature of the road. Now, on this straight section, look at that. You can see the Category 1 chase back behind. But this is a strong group, Matt. Taisalius, Torrento, Angarita in here. I'm thinking this group are the ones who are really going to want to jump in. Smithson is in here. Ospina is in here. You know, these are class Category 2 riders, and those lead 3 are about 40 seconds down the road. Look, there's Kranich down the road. Giuliano's down the road. Now, I would imagine this group are going to want to try and jump in with this Category 1 group and take the tow 40 seconds down the road to join Giuliano, Kranich, Cadiz and Mr. G.
Certainly, what I'd be doing, I would have spent the last 2 or 3 minutes trying to get a little bit of rest and recovery done so that when these riders come on board, I can jump in with them. Also, I'd want a reasonable distance to benefit from that tow because if they catch on the climb, that is going to not be easy to stay with them. That climb starts at 26.1k, and I think, unfortunately for this group, they're going to get caught as we turn left onto the climb, and that is going to make life hard. I think I might have been sitting up a little bit sooner, letting the group come across and taking a rest on that flatlands, and that would have given the benefit of that draft much more time to take effect and to bring my heart rate down and to do some recovery because they're caught and we turn onto the climb. And this means it's going to be tough stuff for those category 2 riders. So let's see who's got that power, who's got the pace, who's going to stay with them. Here we go. Climb number 2 of Mount Pleasant.
So as we hit the foothills of climb number 2 up Mount Pleasant, it's a category 4 climb, but it's deceptive. It might say 4.5% average gradient overall for Mount Pleasant on the parkour, but the gradients will hit 16, 17% in places and really give these riders' legs something to notice. So Popovic, Noren, Zanaska, Vujasin, Osborne, this lead group of 9 Category 1 riders, currently towing some of our Category 2 riders onto the base of this climb. There are Category 2 races up ahead, and we've got multiple categories on this climb now, Matt.
We have, and it's going to be really a battle to see who can stay with the Category 1 leaders and try and take that toe, stay with the big group to get that benefit. If there is a big group left going over the top, we've seen time and time again, this climb will split the groups, and we're already starting to see a slight fracture between the leading 6 riders and the rest of this group as these riders continue to push. Remember, this is just the first slope, the first part of a 2-stage climb. Both parts are hard. The second stage is longer, it's steeper, and it comes after that real jelly leg inducing downhill section in the middle as well, and that does make it very difficult now. Spina, Angarita, Taisalis and Smithson as well as Cardenas really getting dropped quite quickly out of this group. You can see Spina is close, but he's no cigar at the moment because he's not in with this group. And I think there's only one Category 2 rider stay with him, and that is going to be Toretto, who has stayed in with this group. Felipe in there. So that's going to be very interesting. Felipe Tortoretto is the only Category 2 rider able to stay with Category 1 as they go into the dip and head in towards the second stage of this climb.
Well, this climb is definitely a more steady climb for these Category 1 riders this time. All 9 riders still together as they went up and over the first stage of Mount Pleasant, moving now and transitioning on the downhill into the steeper segments of Mount Pleasant as we see Safrazad on the front with Noren pushing on. Zanaska is there. These riders are all tapping away very comfortably on this climb, and this group of 9 are pretty much staying together at the moment. They've overtaken and gone through a number of Category 3, 4 and Category 2 riders on the first ascent of Mount Pleasant, and now they have more riders to catch in front.
Well, look at this group. Saeed Safrazad doing some serious work here, wanting to close it down. But this group of Category 2 riders can see the action up close and personal here. Mr. G, James Krasnich, as well as Daniel Cadiz and Ryan Giuliano. Heath Eckersley's also going to get the same feeling. Heath is going to see Category 2 come through, but he's seen the Category 1 leaders go through. And look at this, Safrazad and Knudsen are really pushing on here. They're opening a little bit of a gap back to Zanaska and co. And this is telling as we come towards the upper slopes, the steeper sections. We've still got quite a long way to go, though, on this second part of the climb. And we're really seeing the weaknesses open out. Really interested to see what's happened to Mr. X100. Remember, this is where he got distance last time and chased back on again with help from Pablo Popovic. There we go. No sooner said than done. I wish I could do that with lottery tickets. We're back in with Mr. X100, and Pablo Popovic is right with him here. And they've gone past Jason Osborne, who's dead in the water at the moment. He's just turning his legs around. So I think Osborne is done and dusted. He's out of action, and that means that Mr. X100 SX100 and Pablo Popovic are now chasing a duo of riders, chasing our leaders in Category 1. Can that UAE clan team get back, Emma? What do you think?
Well, it was indeed Safrasad and Knudsen who kicked on, and those were probably the two riders who are exceptionally on good form this month. They've pretty much switched 1-2 regularly from our December final onwards, but we've got another rider in there. They've got Zanaska in there. Zanaska had an amazing ride last week, finishing in second place. So Safrasad, Zanaska and Knudsen, they are our riders on form this month, and they are the three at the front of this field, and they are just being joined by SS as well. So Vujasin is there. They've now got a group of what is looking like 6 riders go over the top there, as Noren has joined them as well.
Well, that is
so
very
6 riders.
So very telling as they went over the top there. Emma and I talking over each other in the excitement of that. Apologies, Emma. The 6 riders leading over the top. The gap back, though, has opened up. With Justin and Zanaska, as Emma said, having great rides. They really are coming on form at the moment. The 2 riders behind, Mr. X100 and Pablo Popovic, I can't see getting back now. That is just a big, big gap. But this group is splitting again a little bit on this descent. And they've got to be careful here, or they'll be in trouble further back. That gap is opening.
Yeah, and the other rider really on form at the moment is Noren. So Noren riding really strongly today. An elite mountain biker. We're not riding on esport platforms, but Noren riding really, really strongly today, putting himself in this top 6 as they descend off of Mount Pleasant.
Well, let's see how this reforms. Intriguing to watch the racing here today. Who's pushing where? And that group knew they needed to be with the leaders, the chasing group of Noren and Jasin, who came across to the Zanaska group there. They knew they needed to be in position. They knew that they needed to be on the wheels as they went over the top. It was very telling that Mr. X100 again distanced that time with Pablo Popovic. And of course, he won't have chance to regroup when we finish at the top of that climb next time round. So even if they get back this time, it's not boding well for that final climb.
No, and I'm thinking we are looking now at 6 riders in this lead group at the moment, and they are continuing to push on. We've got 7 watts per kilo coming out of Noren at the moment. We're on the descent, and I'm thinking they really want to make this stick, because there is pushing really hard at the front of this group on this descent at the moment. So Noren's still sitting at 5 watts per kilo. SS just trying to take the pace off by going to the front and sitting up a little bit, but Knudsen is still pushing too. And they've got a couple of Category 2 riders in here who they've caught. So it's Spratt and Maglio. Now, Spratt and Maglio were 2 and 3 on the road in that Category 2 race. So it should just be Reno who is down the road in the lead of that Category 2 race. So Maglio and Spratt now in perfect positioning in 2 and 3 in that green jersey Category 2 race, because if this group, and they can take a toe off this group, fantastic positioning and timing for them today.
Well, they're looking for Reno, aren't they, who's down the road. They're looking to try and take that toe up there. And we've just got another catch being made. This is going to be more of our Category 3 riders. We've seen Magat get past on the way in and through. And a nice little move there by Pablo Jr. going through. So Pablo just jumping in there, doing a great job of picking up the pace and smoothly doing that. And that is really tricky stuff, isn't it? Just to get that cadence right, to be able to jump in with the group, shows a lot of riding on the platform. To have that beautiful response, just kick just enough to get into the group without spitting yourself out the back or into the front.
Yeah, there's a real technique there to master so you don't snowball through the group, go over the top, and you don't put your automatic brakes on and go out the back, as we see Mr. X100 here continuing to chase, and a master of chasing this man. You know, Safrazad is 20 seconds down the road, and that's where I think he wants to be. He's got a few Category 3 and Category 2 riders between them, and he's going to use them as motivation to catch and continue to push as they move on today.
But the leaders have already gone sweeping over the top of the bridge. You can see Vujasin keeping this pace high as they come in and through. Daniel Gomez in there. And I think you're going to see a real push by these riders this time to keep Popovic, to keep clear the Road Mistakes 100, because they know the danger that these riders can pose at the moment. You still got two teammates in here from the UAE clan team, SS and Said Safrazad. So there's still two of them in there. You've got Vajasin, you've got Norrens and Nasca working hard at the moment. And I think this is going to be a very interesting finish this time round, because they've shown that they're strong on the climb, but they all have come through very close together over the top. Whereas this time it's all about opening the gaps up. It's not about bringing a group that can stay together. And that's going to be very, very telling. Right-hand side of the screen, though, Mr. X100 is trying to do this. Surely it's a bridge too far this time, Emma.
I don't know. He's the consummate professional when it comes to time trialing across a gap. And I'm looking at his heart rate. He is working hard. It's tapping up towards 160. And whilst heart rates are very different for different people, we've seen Mr. X100 reach about 164. So 160s is a real push for him. So this is a really hard effort here. And he's quite adamant he's going to try and close this gap again as he's tapping along at a really strong pace. He's currently at 6 watts per kilo, trying to time trial his way across another 20-second gap. But do you know what? He's done it before, Matt, and it completely depends on how the front group behave. And at the moment, they're in a bunch with Category 3 and Category 2 riders able to stay with them. So they are not pushing on. They are not moving fast. So you never know. X100 may well make it again.
Well, it's coming
and
down.
I say he may well make it again.
Seconds.
It's coming. Yeah, and he can see them, Matt. He's got sight of them.
He has. I can't just, what a ride. I mean, just never give it up. I mean, tenacious is not the word. It doesn't describe it enough depth how hard this is. You can see that heart rate's climbing. It's a 161. If Emma reckons it's going to go to 164 before he's going to go pop, he should have some to spare here as he comes in. He's going to want to make the catch. And remember, of course, all of this is making our riders stronger. It's making our riders faster. It's getting that technique honed. It's getting that feel for racing at full speed on the platform. And that is key when we move into our finals and when we move in through the rest of the racing. So good ride there. What a ride. Well done, Mr. X100.
Absolutely fantastic. And I'll tell you what, it is tantamount to him, but also our other riders need to take note of that, because just because you get dropped from a group, it doesn't mean you're out of the race. You know, if you can understand how to ride the platform and you can understand different techniques and different tactics, and the fact that riding different tactics can work for you, as X100 has just proved, then, you know, it's amazing what you can do. And don't doubt yourself. Continue to give it all and continue to show and to work hard. And you just don't know what's going to happen.
No, and those riders who've been pushing hard up that climb for the previous two sessions up the climb, the previous two ascents, they may well go pop this time round. And all of a sudden, by getting back in, it means that if they do go pop, he's going to be in there. Well, the next riders up the road, looks like at the moment Acevedo is going to be in the duo of riders in their sights. The leaders in Category 1 up to 15th place, so 14 riders in front, and you can see that group coming behind. Our Category 4 riders doing a great job of staying clear at the moment, but look at this. This is the group coming. Watch the speed they come past. You can see those Category 1 riders start to put the pressure on the pedals. The watts per kilo go up, and whoosh, past they go.
Yeah. So our category 4 riders in the red jerseys started 20 minutes in front of our category 1 yellow jersey riders. So they have been out on the front of this road for a very long time, and they are now starting to get caught, and they are now starting to get past, because this group are moving really fast as they move through. And if we shoot down the road, rider number 1 on the road today, Mendoza, is at 37.7 kilometers, so just under 3k still, Matt, between the lead group, the lead rider on the road today, and this chasing category 1 group.
Wow, look at this. It's still a reasonable distance, but the moment we go on to that final climb, you know that the time gap is going to come down, that the distance will come down, and these riders are just going to get swept up, I think. I can't see the riders managing to stay clear. I know we've got class riders up there, and you've got to say that Reno is 120 up or so on this group. He's in the 10th position overall at the moment. This group having moved up to 13th on the road overall. But Reno, I think, is putting in a great ride here. But I think even he will be swept up by this little leading group of riders. The question will be, can people like Nicholas Spratt, who's in with the lead group, stay with them? Spratt is in there, and he has hitched a lift. He knows that this is the group he wants to be in with, as has Maglio, and they're now getting assistance towards Reno.
Yeah, well, Spratt and Maglio are 2 class riders. You know, Spratt won qualifier number 2 and was 4th last week in qualifier number 3. So he knows exactly what he's doing, and so does Maglio. And Reno went hard, and Reno went early on that very first climb in that category 2 race today. Absolutely put the gauntlet down to that category 2 race and was adamant his tactic was to go clear off the front. Spratt and Maglio's tactics slightly different. They pushed hard, they made the gap, they made the group, but they've now sat in with this category 1 group. And you know, unless there's constantly high attacks going off the front of this category 1 pack, Matt, I think Spratt and Maglio are both capable of holding this pace for some time at the moment. So it may be that this group transition them back to Reno.
Yeah, definitely very interesting to see now. Taking a little bit of a look a bit further down, Bushmuller and Panizza just coming up over the rise off that coastal road. It looks very interesting that they've got Angarita Smithson, Cardenas Espina in there. So that group is continuing to push in category 2 because they've got category 1 riders in with them now. And this is where people like Bushmuller need to jump in and do almost the reverse of where category 1 riders have gone hard and blown and then been dropped. They need to pick up a group, find a group, get yourselves in and along.
Yeah, and this is the chase group. This is the chase group on the category 1 race. So Fawcett, Near, Bushmuller and Panizza are the chasing riders in this category 1 race, and they've picked up what must be 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th in the category 2 race. So this group will, I think, move quite swiftly through the riders who are coming up on thick and fast on the road in front. So we drop back in with our leading group in this category 1 race, and they do indeed still have Maglio and Spratt in there, as well as our category 3 rider. They are about to start to come up onto category 4 riders. In fact, look at that as they sweep round this left-hand bend, that category 4 rider comes into view. So that is indeed Kamesh, one of our strong riders in that category 4 race. And Vijaysin's about to come up on his shoulder, and as they sweep straight past Kamesh, Kamesh sits there now at the back of that group as the group start pushing into the distance, and Kamesh is now left behind.
Well, he was trying there, saw a little bit of a lift in pace, but he couldn't quite hold it there. And great to see he's continuing onwards. He's held off for a long, long time. We're at 37.4k of a 45-kilometer race, and that takes some holding, but this course takes no prisoners, and it is not one which flatters the lower categories. It's one where the riders who have the pace and power of our category 1, they are the riders who we expect to see really dominating the ride. Riders like Lionel Vujasin, who we're in with now, leading this pace away and continuing to push. We're seeing him kicking once again. We've gone up that steep section. We're dropping down. This is one of our steeper descents here on the section away from Mount Pleasant. And you can just see that pace going up to 53 kilometers an hour. The pedal has 91 revs a minute at the moment. The pedal cadence very, very high as these riders come down, just trying to carry that momentum in. They know they come into this kicker here at 7.4% at the peak, and it is one where momentum is key. Rolling in and rolling up over the top is absolutely critical.
Yeah, it is indeed. And if you are watching the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club and thinking you would like to join us on the start line in the future, head over to mywhoosh.com. If you haven't already, you can download the app there and you can ride the platform to get used to these courses. Log on and get yourself on the Australian Wollongong course and see what our riders have faced today. Now, to join the Sunday Race Club, you need to head to the events page. There is a section there on the Sunday Race Club that has the technical guide, the rules, the regulations, as well as some frequently asked questions. Make sure you read all those documents and you set yourself up to enable you to establish a verified ride so you can qualify for our monthly finals. You can also enter on that events page. You can enter the Sunday Race Club. You need to have entered 12 hours before the event. So go ahead over, take a look, and join us in the future on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
So here on Sunday Race Club, it is our final qualifier prior to the finals, the very end of the month, when we see our teams as well as our individuals fighting for those amazing prizes here on MyWhoosh. The Category 1 riders, the cream of the crop, the elites, well, they have shown today they've been on absolutely storming form. And once again, we're seeing the aggression coming from Mr. X100 as he opens up the throttle, coming in into this next climb, this next kicker that takes us in towards the final ascent. Remember, it's 42.6k, the start of that final two-step climb that we finish at the top of today.
Yeah, and it's Zanaska who's responded behind here. Zanaska has seen the damage being done by X100's strong pace, and Zanaska has kicked at 9 watts per kilo. Vujasin is following, Safrazad and Knudsen, Nora are towing behind, but it's Zanaska here that has closed the gap and comes up onto Mr. X100's shoulder and goes over the top and past. So Zanaska and X100, 2 seconds clear of the rest of the group, and the rest of the group are going to have to do something about this because they can't let Zanaska and X100 go, because Zanaska is continuing to push on. He's holding 5.5, 6.5 watts per kilo. X100 has seen what he's doing. Vujasin is trying to chase behind, but they're not kicking hard at the moment behind. Zanaska at 7 watts per kilo, continuing to push on here and trying to make this stick.
Well, if these two could put that kind of time trial effort we saw from Mr. X100 to get on, now put on offensive rather than defensive, you could see these two riders ride away, and the rest of the bunch has to answer this. But remember, you've got SS in here as well as Saeed Safrazad, who are not going to do the work. They're going to mark out any moves that are being made. They do not want to have this group come back to their road captain, to Mr. X100. They'll want to give him that little bit more sliding room on the climb if he is going to start to feel the pressure on there. But at the moment, Michael Knudsen, I think, is the rider with Lucas Zanaska, who I'd be putting my money on at the top of this climb. And the reason for that is because Knudsen and Vujasin have answered the responses pretty quickly every time. Not only that, but they've not done too much work except on that big climb.
Well, there are 6 riders in this lead group of this Category 1 pack today, and 5 prizes and 1 very big climb starting at 42.6 kilometres, separating them from that finish line. Now, who is the strongest rider, the strongest climber, should I say? It's not X100. And how much of a gap can X100 and put in before they go into the base of this climb over the next 2K? Now, looking like Knudsen is chasing a little bit harder from behind. We've got 4 chase riders, 2 down the front. Spratt and Maglio are Category 2 riders as trying to hang on to this group, as this group is looking like it's all about to come back together again.
Well, that is some ride by Maglio and Spratt to stay in with the attacks and counter-attacks that keep on going. They're managing to just hang on to the people countering the attacks, and that is key here because this is going to make a big difference. They're chasing Reno, remember, and they are moving themselves up and they're putting each other under pressure, and that is going to be helpful as well because, of course, prizes, top 5 prizes, as Emma said, but of course it's in each of our categories as well, in category 1, 2, 3, and 4 here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. So our riders, irrespective of category, all know that they want to be in the top 5 here. Remember, of course, in the finals, that has the addition of those extra prizes in the team competition, and that's when the top 3 riders of each team, well, the ones that are going to be the ones that count to bring home those brilliant team prizes as well. Now, the distance is closing. Our leader on the road at the moment is Mendoza, who had the biggest head start. He is there in category 4. He's got Reno behind him. Reno's gone past all of the category 3 riders, but it's category 4 rider Mendoza leading. At the moment, he still has the gap. He's on the first part of the big climb. On the run-in, the riders on the right-hand side of your screen. This is your big chasing group sandwiched in between our category 1 and category 4 leaders. Well, we have the category 2 leader, that is Reno, and we have our group of category 3 riders who are still battling it out, and they're on the way in. Names like Parisi, Lopez, and Simeo, the usual crew. It could be said, people like Phillips and Dadson in there. So great to see categories 3 in there. In fact, just up on the left-hand side of your screen. Look at that.
Yeah,
so you can see this is the leaders, isn't it, Emma? I think this is going to be a real scrap for those 5 prizes.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because look at this. We've got a group here on category 3 on the left-hand side of your screen, and we've still got 6 riders in this lead category 1 group on the right-hand side of your screen. You know, they are 1.2k off the front rider Mendoza, who is the leading rider on the road today, our category 4 rider, who started 20 minutes in front of this category 1 pack. And they are all now merging together onto this climb as this lead category 1 group with Spratt and Maglio in, our 2 category 2 riders, now hit the base of Mount Pleasant for the final time. So 2.45 kilometers of climbing to the finish line for the front of this category 1 group.
And they're just coming past Suarez there, the second rider in category number 4, as we see Parisi starting to kick clear in category 3 on the left of your screens. Category 1 chasing in at the base of the climb on the right-hand side of your screen. Parisi opening it up. So at the moment, it's Mendoza, Reno, Parisi leading in categories 4, 2, and 3, respectively. But Parisi is going to get caught here. I think Simeo and Restrepo have got the measure of him. They're coming up onto his wheel, and they've responded to that attack by Parisi. So Parisi at the moment has been pulled back. The man being damaged by this is Michael Phillips at the back. Restrepo is in there. Lopez is in there. But Phillips, look at the gap. It's opening. He's got to respond now, and he's got to respond quickly. They're coming up to the summit, and as they go over the top, the pace will pick up. And as they go into this downhill section, the gap will open at the front of the group, and you can see them just picking up the pace in front of him. He's up to 46 kph. He's got to chase hard as Phillips to get back in and try and pick the back of that group up before they go up on to the climb. Mendoza is still up the road, and it looks like Reno has gone up into our race lead overall. So it's Reno in 1 from category 2. It's Mendoza in 2 from the category 4. Then it is our category 3 leading group. This is the leading category number 1. It's all getting into its culmination here, Emma.
It is indeed, as SS Sanaska and Vujasin come up onto Mark Dadson. He'd just been dropped off the back of that category 3 group 20 seconds down the road, and SS and this leading group now of category 1 riders start the descent before they hit the main climb of Mount Pleasant. They are coming up for just over 2 kilometers to climb, 2.2k to the top of Mount Pleasant. We've got 4 riders, Safrasad, SS, Knudsen here, pushing on hard. These riders continue to push. Reno still pushing on the top of this climb.
He is indeed. Reno is really pushing, so Reno's going to be who's going to lead it over the top here today. He's going to be the first rider in. I think they are coming, but I'm not sure they're coming fast enough behind. 300 meters separates the leaders of Category 1 and the lead of the race, and we've got lots of riders in between as well.
Yeah, and there's nearly 400 metres to go now for Reno and the lead of this race. So 400 metres separating Reno and the finishing line here. 800 metres separating the front pack of this Category 1 race as the NASCAR pushes with Safrazad in two. There's still a large number of these Category 1 riders in this pack. Zanaska, Vujasin, Safrazad, Knudsen, Noren and SS all in there, all continuing to push as the road is starting to run out. You know, Matt, there's 600 metres now for these Category 1 riders and 200 metres for Reno.
Well, we've got that little bit of a dip, and then it's a climb. Reno is looking good at the moment in the lead of the race overall. He's got a gap to Parisi. Then it's going to be Mendoza. So Parisi again on the offensive. He could be going away to take that Category 3 win. I think we're going to see all 4 category winners come in within a few seconds of each other, but the man who is going to lead this home, it is going to be Reno coming in. Renage is going to take the victory here. Category 2 rider stays clear. He's going to take the victory overall. He comes through. Look at that. First rider over the line is Reno from Category 2 behind. It should be Parisi, but he's in danger of being caught. This is our Category 1 battle here. We've got Safrazad, Vajasin, and Zanaska on the way up towards the line. They're all coming into the line. It's going to be almost simultaneous. I think our Category 4 rider is going to hold on as well. Mendoza just about going to hold clear, but look at this. The break is going here. The riders in Category 1 are all over the road here. This is going to be really interesting. They're going to push. They're in with Category 3 riders as well. So Simeo is going to go through second place and first in Category 3. Our first Category 1 is going to be Syed Safrazad, who takes victory from the chasers behind. So look at that. Safrazad with the fastest time up the climb. He goes in ahead of Knudsen. Then it's Vujasin. Then it's Zanaska. And I tell you something, Emma, I think you called that right there. They were the riders to watch. But look at Mr. X100. He's absolutely nailed it here to come into the line. You can see how hard he's working.
Oh, that was a strong ride from X100 today, getting to make the catch twice to get back into that lead group. But nothing can be taken away from our fastest riders today. Syed Safrazad with the quickest time today, 1 hour and 10 minutes, 16 seconds. Knudsen in 2, Vujasin in 3, Zanaska in 4, and Noren putting in a storming ride for 5th place. Mr. X100 in 6, SS in 7th, and then our lead Category 2 rider, Reno, coming in. Maglio takes 2nd in that race, and Simeo takes Category 3 from Restrepo.
I know, amazing. That is a great ride. Well, it's been a pleasure joining Emma for this. Emma, I'll let you take this out.
Yeah, it has indeed been an amazing race today for qualifier race number 4. The attacks came fast and furious. So we are looking forward to our January finals next week. Come and join us. Join me, Emma Martin, and Matt Payne for that race next week. So we shall see you then. From all of us in the studio today and the team at MyWhoosh, we will see you next week. Goodbye.